What is going on, Lunatic Fringe? Other than Terra Luna Classic, what are you holding in your wallet? I'm asking that question right now. Put it in the comments down below. Make sure you hit that like button on the way in, because I'm curious, like, what do you pair your Luna Classic with in your portfolio? When do you get excited? When do you kind of freak out? I'm genuinely curious to see what some of these answers are. For me, it's a token called DEVVE, D-E-V-V-E. It's just something that I've been partnered with that I really like. So that's my other bigger bag, if you will. So let me know what yours is in the comment section down below. Now let's get going. Again, make sure you hit that like button on the way in. So sign up for TerraCasino.io for all your risk-based gaming needs. Friday Night Football is here. Tomorrow, it's going to be Saturday, it's going to be college football, and then Sunday, you've got the NFL going absolutely nanners on your screens everywhere. And then you got Monday Night Football, Chicago Bears, let's go, baby. Terraport.finance. If you want to buy a meme coin, you want to buy a utility coin in this Terra Luna Classic ecosystem, this is the hot spot right now. In fact, it's so hot, it's still #1 by 3 times in terms of volume in all decentralized exchanges in this ecosystem. And what do you think is going to happen when they remove taxes? By the way, remember, we have a burn tax of 1.5%, which is causing a problem with developers coming on. And by the way, I think it's important to say, because I believe that burns are an asset to what we are doing ultimately. But it doesn't matter how much there is if everybody's hodling and not selling and buying and trading on Terra Luna Classic, because they're doing it on Binance. That's where most of the volume is. So why are we preventing people from doing stuff like building without penalizing them, I should say? And Binance is the one that's doing the actual biggest set of burns. And so it just seems, it's the more I watch the ecosystem play out, the more I realize we are getting to the end of that tax. So hopefully we'll see that disappear, and then people will start coming back. We'll do a better job, I think, of promoting once that's done, because there will be not incentive, but a lack of a drawback to building on the Terra Luna Classic chain. By the way, that's just my opinion. I could be wrong. You never know when things will just blow up. On to the news. Somebody's recognizing that hitting oversold mode after trashing key support levels, Lunk now witnesses several signs of bullish divergence. So what we're talking about right now is Kimmy Boy. As a matter of fact, somebody that I've known for a very long time, ironically, says that 4/0's44, bolstered by a positive MACD and an oversold condition in the RSI. This is just the beginning. Talking about a 3x move up into, where is the number? 30's, let's call it 13. 30's 13. As a nice big move here. So if it plays out, if this wedge pattern plays out, and by the way, if you look right there at the chart, you can see that we're calling it a wedge pattern, but I'm not really convinced that that's what we're seeing right now. The only reason that we're not talking about this is because I still have concern over some of the levels that we're going to have to revisit. But I do appreciate the fact that we've got somebody out here looking at it and trying to figure out what that next step is. Now, as far as meme coins and everything goes, we've seen a big update here, which is very nice, by the way. Very, very clean layout here. But this is the new Lunk Hall. Or, I mean, Coin Hall. Did I say Lunk Hall? Haha. Anyway, it is called Lunk Hall, by the way. But Coin Hall just had a nice little update here where you can sort by market cap. You can sort by, whichever one of these categories that you want right now, being done by price at this point. So Garuda, Juris, all having pretty decent times. And you can just kind of look up and down here and see. Now, just same as always, just kind of click on them and it takes you to your page there. Not updating as good as I would like. Like, for example, this says 2/0's 93.98, but we just clicked on it was 85. So I think there's some kind of refresh here that's just not refreshing or something. I don't know, but hopefully they'll get that fixed too. Now, in the 7-day window, we're seeing all nodes pick up a little bit of steam. We're seeing Greenpeace continue to pick up steam. Lunk Live continuing to pick up steam. I did tell you guys, and I will let you guys know that I am going to launch a validating node with my goal. Obviously, it's important to protect the chain, of course. However, it is also important to protect the investors as well. And my vote will go towards you guys and what I think is best for the chain. And we'll have some kind of process here where you guys will be able to let your opinion know, so I will know which way the wind is blowing, and I will be on your side. So the more you validate with me, the more you are represented. So I'll let you know when that's finalized. Okay, so what is going on in the chart? First of all, CZ Binance was pardoned yesterday. Also, Binance is opening up in South Korea. All of these things are aligning for a Luna Classic pump. So Kimmy Boy might just be right about this entire thing. Now, I'm looking at this on the 4 hour, and you can see that we've had a little bit of a surge. Now, it ran up to the 200 on the 4 hour, got rejected, came back down to the 50. But what we're looking at right now, what you guys are seeing, you're witnessing in real time. You see this right here, and you see this right here heading to an uptrend. Boy, I did a bad job of lining that up. Anyway, you see that going in an uptrend right there. That's going to give you a golden cross. A golden cross usually representative of pretty big and significant moves. Now, can we confirm that? Well, we got a nice move here. Wasn't great, but we got a nice move. When we start to zoom out, though, more often than not, when you get that golden cross, you really start to take off. When we get that golden cross, you really start to take off. When we get that golden cross, keeping going back over here. When you get the golden cross, you tend to rip a lot. So when we see those are bullish indicators. And by the way, there are AI bots and things like that are looking for golden crosses to start examining and starting to look in. And then when you get after that, what you look at is your MACD to see whether or not the money is flowing in the right direction. And if you look at this right now, the money flow had a little bit of a dump, and now it's going back into what could be green territory. When we get green territory, we get these big moves. When we get green territory, we get these big moves. So you could be looking at another big move getting ready to happen in the market for Terra Luna Classic. All the pieces are starting to line up, at least, if not for a nice surge, at least for a recovery back to a previous level, which would be, right in this range right here. What I told you going back out to the daily is right there. We've had that trend line that just got broken. That's what we want to get back into. The longer it takes us to get back into this trend line, the more invalidated it becomes. The more invalidated it becomes, the more we're going to go down. All right, so if we continue where we're going, you see that little crossover right here, you get a bounce right here and you're back in the zone. And then if you can use that line right there at 56 to bounce for support, then we're back in the game, baby. And it doesn't mean a whole lot, but it does mean that we'll have some positive momentum. That positive momentum is never a bad thing. You never know when the right piece of news, like the market module, you never know when the right piece of news pops out of nowhere and it starts to send the markets. And the reason that it gets bigger and better than you would sometimes think is because what if Do Kwon is pardoned? CZ Binance, and by the way, we talked about this 3 or 4 months ago on this channel, how I thought CZ Binance was going to end up getting pardoned by the end of the year. So I was right. But the next step would be Do Kwon. And his, I think his hearing is in December. I want to say around December 13th, if memory serves me. So what if he gets a pardon? What if that actually happens? What if the President of the United States steps in and says, you know what, we're being overzealous on a crypto and we should be focused more on something else? I don't know what would happen here. Now, let me be clear. It is my opinion that Do Kwon did what he's being accused of. Okay, so I don't want to belie the fact that in my mind he's guilty, but so was CZ Binance and he got pardoned. So we could see something in relation to this happening and playing out real time. As a matter of fact, this might be an example of how the markets are going to allow for innovation, which is what we'll call what Do Kwon was trying to do. Again, he lied to you, but I don't know that that matters. So let's see how this all plays out over the next little while. Could be happening. Anyway, that would lead to an incredible surge because a lot of people be like, oh, he's coming back. And then you would see a lot of speculators come back in. Now, the speculators help to build a bigger floor, and then that allows for a bigger springboard, when the markets really start to sizzle and surge. And listen, the last time we had that big surge, we ended up at 3017909. That's a 4x from where we are right now. So just to put it into perspective, I'm not saying that that's a great move, but I'm saying that that's a lot. And the time that we got the biggest surge, which was over here in November of 2020, December of 2023, right when we really started to get that Bitcoin move, because we knew that the ETFs were coming and we were having that exciting blow off end. It ended up going to 3027. So we go to 3027, 3028, then you're talking about a 7x from where we are. And again, these are like mini altcoin seasons that have happened. Each one of these is representative of a time when Bitcoin absolutely started to surge and drew the rest of the market along with it. If we get a surge, if we get all of that at the right time, it's, everything will just kind of consolidate into one moment here. And then all of a sudden, before you know it, we're testing this all-time high again, which right now is about a 12x away. So it's not impossible to really start to see a surge of Terra Luna Classic. Okay, I just want to be honest with you guys. I think that there's some real opportunity here, but it's going to take that market module working as intended, maybe doing a little bit better than we think, a removal of the tax, life coming back into the system, and Duquan getting pardoned at the same time. Like crazy stuff would happen if that were the case, especially if he's allowed to conduct business, even if he doesn't go back to South Korea. On to volume. We're still struggling with volume, but we had a nice couple of days on Binance, so that should lead to a tiny bit of accelerated burns. USTC, again, to me, USTC is just dead at this point. The volume is only 3 million. And by the way, when I say dead, I don't mean that it will never do anything. I mean just right now it's dormant with no real purpose. The one purpose I'm going to show you in just a second, though. As far as the burns go, not a whole lot today. An okay amount yesterday, 41 million. If we got 41 million a day over 7 days, that's 280. We're at 295. So, I mean, this is about as average as it gets in terms of the days. What we would like to see is about 8 times as much, going up to the 2 billion range, but here we are. And then finally, this is your use for USTC right now. The use for USTC is to be converted to USTR, which is then converted to UST1. December 15 is the target date for the start of the first 100-day conversion window. Now, I'm going to take some USTC and I'm going to move it to USTR, okay? So the question and answers down here. Is it possible that USTR will be $1 someday? Yes. USTR can reach $1. The economic framework for this was first outlined in the initial white paper published last November, which has since been viewed over 40,000 times by a broad audience, from general investors to quantitative analysts who praised its approach to addressing the USTC debt. USTR is designed to either be staked or eventually swapped into UST1 depending on the collateral ratio. Before USTR reaches $1, the only option is staking. Once USTR hits the $1 market, a price floor is established, at which point both staking and direct swapping into UST1 will be possible. The full mechanics and details are comprehensively covered in the white paper. So what I would say would be this: like, if you're looking at a conversion ratio, let's just say that it's 1-to-1. Okay, if you put 1,000 USTC, which right now would cost you $80, if you put 1,000 USTC into USTR and just allowed them to cook and let them work, if it works out, then you can cash out UST1 $1,000 when it repegs. I mean, that's basically what it is. Once you've established a floor, then you are good to go. So we shall see whether or not this works. So again, for me, for you, for anybody, what I think you should do is at least come into 10 to 20 to 30 to 50,000 USTC when the timing is right. That's December 15, and maybe give that a shot. Also, by the way, that will lock up more USTC and get it out of circulation, which will also drive up scarcity. Thus, hopefully, by the way, it takes a lot of this to happen for scarcity, because remember how much we have. But that could also be a single motivator for driving this price up. So, and you never know whether or not it'll happen. So, That's it. That's the show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys. Again, I'm just kind of riffing here with some of those things. And I'm generally curious, what is that other big holding that you have? Like, what is it that you're holding on to? What is your dream? What is your aspiration? Mine is Dev and Terra Luna Classic. As you guys know, I have a little over 20 million of the tokens. I'm not a whale. I'm just somebody who's an investor who's been, by the way, I bought 10 million. I've been accumulating for the last couple years. I'm not validating with anybody. Now I'm going to validate, I guess, with myself. So then we'll see what happens. It's not financial advice, but I'm always right.